This is the part of the show where I tell you about the client. Every true crime podcast has one. The grieving family member, the concerned friend, the ex-spouse with a theory. They come to you with red eyes and a folder of receipts and they say the magic words, which are always some version of
"Nobody believes me."
And then, if you've been doing this long enough, you learn to listen for the second thing they say. Because there's always a second thing. And the second thing is always the one they practiced in the mirror. Maya Hallberg came to me 3 weeks ago with red eyes and a folder of receipts and the magic words. And she said her second thing, and I heard it, and I wrote it down in the notebook I keep behind the bar and forgot about, because I was drinking Sal's bourbon and telling myself that a client with a second thing is still a client. Which is true. It just isn't the whole truth. Tonight I'm going to find out what the whole truth is. Or closer to it. In this business you don't get the whole truth. You get a fraction of it, and you compare that fraction against another fraction, and if the numerators match you call it a lead. I'm recording this part before I go downstairs. For you. For me. I don't know yet. The remainder is quieter on Tuesday nights than it has any right to be. Sal blames the weather, which is what Sal blames everything on, including the stock market and his nephew's divorce. The truth is Ludlow Street has been hollowing out for 2 years now, ever since the fire on Rivington took out the dumpling place and the second-hand bookstore in one shot. People used to wander from there to here. Now they wander from there to somewhere else. I liked the hollowing out at first. Fewer witnesses. I came down the stairs at 8:42. I know it was 8:42 because the clock behind the bar was 8:42, and also because my phone said 8:42, and also because Sal's neon Schlitz sign had done the thing it does where it flickers on the third letter for exactly a second and a half, which I've timed on enough slow nights to know it cycles every 11 minutes on the hour. 8:42 was a flicker minute. You can check. The stairs down from my apartment are narrow and the carpet on them is the kind of brown that stopped being a color in 1987 and became a mood. There are 19 of them. On the 9th step there is a loose nail that catches the heel of my left shoe every time, which I've meant to fix for 11 months and have not fixed, because every time I am on the stair I am also going somewhere. And if I am going somewhere I am not carrying a hammer. Tonight the nail caught, as it does, and I swore under my breath, as I do, and I put my shoulder into the swinging door at the bottom and came out into the warm close amber of Sal's bar. Maya was already in the back booth. She'd taken the far seat, facing the door, which is where I sit. She looked up when I came down and didn't smile. "You changed seats on me," I said. "Is that a problem?" "No. It's interesting." I slid in across from her. She'd ordered a Coke. No ice. The glass was sweating into a napkin that had already given up on being a napkin and had become a small wet rag. Maya's coat was folded on the bench beside her, and on top of the coat was a manila folder. New manila. The corners still sharp. Whatever was in that folder had been moved there tonight. Sal came over with a water and a glass and set both in front of me without making eye contact, which is his way of saying,
"I'm listening."
I nodded. He went back behind the bar and picked up a rag and started wiping a glass that was already clean. Sal has 4 expressions and they are all
Wiping a glass that is already clean.
But I can tell them apart by now. This one meant,
"Say the thing."
"Maya," I said. "Len. I want to walk through something with you." "Okay." Not an accusation. Just a walk.
Okay, Len.
She said it with her teeth a little apart. Brave voice. Rehearsed. I took a sip of the water and let the glass touch the table again and lined it up with the ring of condensation it had already made. I do this. I'm a man who wants his glass to sit in its ring. Judge me. When you came to me 3 weeks ago, I said, you told me you found out about Daniel's death from his building super. You said the super called you. You said you drove in from Hoboken. You said by the time you got to the apartment, the police were already there. Yes. Maya, I pulled the 911 call log. The super didn't make the call. You did. At 7:14 that morning. From inside the apartment. The audio is 6 seconds long. You say the address. You say my brother is dead. You hang up. I watched her face. She had 3 seconds of nothing, and then her mouth did a small thing where the corners tightened, and her eyes did a wider thing where they held on mine a half beat too long, and then she looked down at the Coke and put her thumb on the rim of the glass and pressed hard enough to make the glass squeak against the table.
Oi.
She said.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
She didn't reach for the folder. I noticed that. If she'd been planning to bluff, the folder would have come out. The folder was props, and she was giving up on props. Tell me, I said. She took a long breath. Her shoulders came down about an inch, which is the inch you don't know you're carrying until you let it go. It's a tell. Cops use it. When a suspect's shoulders drop, you stop talking and you let the silence finish the job. I stopped talking.
I got there at 6:40.
Maya said. Her voice had changed. It had gone lower and flatter, the way voices go when a person stops performing. I let myself in. I had, a key. Daniel gave me one after our mother got sick, in case. You know. In case. In case. He was in the chair. The big armchair by the window. Head tipped back. His left arm was, she stopped. Swallowed. Started again. His left arm was hanging off the side of the chair, and his right hand was in his lap, and there was this, she made a gesture with her own hand, a small limp curl. His hand was curled like he'd been holding something and it fell out. But there wasn't anything on the floor by his hand. There was nothing there. You looked. I looked. Len, I'm going to sound crazy. Everybody sounds crazy. Keep going. I looked for like a minute. Maybe 2. I couldn't. I didn't touch him yet. I couldn't. I just stood there. And I kept thinking, there should be something in his hand. The way his fingers were. You hold something and it falls, your hand looks like that. And there was nothing on the floor. So I got down on my hands and knees and I looked under the chair. What was under the chair? A pill bottle. Rolled all the way to the wall. The cap wasn't on it. There were, I don't know, 6 or 7 pills on the hardwood. What kind of pills? His sleep pills. His prescription. Zolpidem, I think, I don't know the dosage. There were pills in the bottle still too. Maybe 15. I counted later.
You picked it up.
She nodded. Didn't say the word. Just the nod. Walk me through it, I said. Not why. Just the motion. You got down on the floor. You saw the bottle. Then what? She closed her eyes. That's the tell for someone trying to remember without editing. She was doing something honest, which is why I kept my mouth shut and let her. She said.
I reached under. The bottle was on its side. I picked it up and the pills on the floor, Some of them rolled when I moved the bottle. I picked those up too. I had them in my hand. The loose ones. I dumped them back in the bottle. I put the cap on. Then what? I stood up. Len, I had them in my hand for maybe 90 seconds. I was standing there with this pill bottle in my hand, and my brother dead in the chair. And I thought.
She stopped. Go on, I said. I thought, this is going to look like an accident. Or like he meant to. I thought, Oracle is going to close this in a day. Nobody is going to look, there it is. I wrote that down, later, in the notebook.
Nobody is going to look.
That was the whole engine. The whole cause. So, I said. You put the bottle on the nightstand. I put it on the nightstand. Not his nightstand. The one across the room. Near the window. Yeah. Cap on. Cap on. Label facing out. Yeah, I think so. I don't remember turning it. But maybe. And then I knocked over the lamp. The reading lamp by the chair. I pushed it. I didn't break it. It fell and it hit the floor and it rolled. I thought, if things were knocked over, Oracle would have to investigate. Yes. I took another sip of the water. My hand was steady. Most nights at this point my hand isn't steady. Tonight it was. I'll take the wins. Maya. I have to ask you this and I want you to think about the answer. Okay. Did you touch him? Her eyes did a thing then. A quick wet thing. She nodded.
I held his hand. For a minute. I sat on the arm of the chair, and I held his hand. I know I shouldn't have. I know. Which hand? The right. The one in his lap. How long? I don't know. A minute. 2 minutes. Until I started. Until I couldn't. I put his hand back how it was. I tried to. I don't know if I got it right.
I let that sit. The water glass was in its ring. The Schlitz sign flickered on the third letter. I counted to 6 in my head, which is what I do when a client says something I need to hold still and look at from 4 sides before I respond. Here's what I wanted to say.
You contaminated your brother's crime scene because you thought it would make people care more, and instead you made Oracle's algorithm more confident, because Oracle's algorithm reads a knocked-over lamp as a detail with intolerance and a displaced pill bottle as evidence of impaired motor function consistent with self-administration.
Which is what Oracle's report said, on page 4, in the paragraph I'd read so many times I could recite it from memory with the correct line breaks. Here's what I actually said. Why? Because nobody was going to look. Maya. Oracle doesn't investigate. Oracle calculates. You can't make Oracle care by, I know that now. I didn't know that then. I thought if it looked wrong enough, they'd have to send a human. They don't send humans to scenes with 97.1% confidence ratings. I know. They send humans to scenes under 80. I know, Len. You made it worse. I know. Her face was open now. Wet but open. I watched a tear get to her jawline and hang there, and she didn't wipe it. That's the other tell. The crying but not hiding it tell. At this point in an interrogation you are either getting the truth or you are getting a very good liar, and I was sober enough to think it was the first one. Sober-ish. Call it sober adjacent. Okay, I said. Okay. Maya. Here's the thing. What? The front door was double deadbolt from the inside when you got there. Yes. Which means no one was in the apartment with him when he died. Which means my theory of the crime is wrong. Which means I owe you a refund on about a week of billable hours. Len, I'm joking. I'm not going to charge you for the wrong theory. I don't work that way. Also, you paid me in cash, which we're going to come back to. She flinched at the word cash. Not a big flinch. A flinch. I want to go back to the pill bottle, I said. Because you moved it, and I've been treating its placement as the central anomaly of the scene for 3 weeks. And the central anomaly isn't an anomaly. It's you. I'm sorry, Len. Don't apologize. Not yet. Apologies go at the end. We're not at the end. I took a breath. I ran the scene in my head the way I do. The way my head works, I can put myself back in Daniel Hallberg's apartment anytime I want. I've been there once, physically, but I can walk the room right now, in this booth, and tell you the grain of the hardwood ran north-south with a small knot 3 feet in from the door. I can tell you the armchair was mid-century, dark green, one arm slightly worn darker than the other where Daniel rested his. I can tell you the reading lamp was brass-colored with a dented shade. I can tell you the nightstand across the room had a water ring on it the size of a coaster, meaning someone had put a drink down there without a coaster at some point, probably more than once. I can tell you the pill bottle, when I first saw it, was 2 inches from the lamp on the nightstand, cap on, label facing out. Which is the position I have been using as the foundation of my entire theory of Daniel's death. Which is the position Maya put it in. Which means, and this is the part that made my hand go steady tonight, I think, which means I have to throw away the foundation and find a new one. Good investigators love this moment. I'm not a good investigator. I tolerate it. Okay, I said. Walk me through what you didn't move. What? What didn't you touch? In the apartment. Tell me what you left alone. She thought. She was still crying a little, but her face had gone working. She tilted her head the way people do when they're actually trying instead of performing trying. His laptop was open on the desk. I didn't touch it. It was showing. I think it was showing email. I don't know. A page that was mostly white. His phone. On the nightstand. His nightstand. The one by the chair. I didn't touch it. Anything in the kitchen. I didn't go in the kitchen. Bathroom. I didn't go in the bathroom. The body. The right hand. That's all. I told you. The chair itself. You didn't move the chair. No. The window. No. The window was cracked open. About this much. She held her fingers apart. 2 inches. I didn't touch the window. I wrote that down. Not in the notebook, in my head. Window cracked 2 inches. Second-story apartment. New York, late February. You don't crack a window in late February unless you want air for a specific reason. Daniel had been a runner. Daniel had been a man who slept with his window open. Daniel had also, according to Oracle's report, been a man with a blood alcohol content of 0.07 and a zolpidem level consistent with a prescribed dose, both of which are conditions under which you would, if you were him, crack a window out of habit before sitting down in your favorite chair. Maya, I said. The cash. Yeah. $800. Withdrawn from an ATM at 11:47 p.m. on the night Daniel died. Using Daniel's card. Daniel's PIN. Yeah. Oracle flagged it as ancillary because the withdrawal pattern didn't match Daniel's historical behavior. Oracle assumed it was Daniel being atypical on his last night, which Oracle's model accepts as within tolerance for people about to, you know. Yeah. It wasn't Daniel. No. It was you. Yes. The ATM is on Avenue C. 3 blocks from Daniel's apartment. Timestamp puts you there 44 minutes before Daniel's estimated time of death. Yes.
Why?
She breathed in. Breathed out. Pressed her thumb on the rim of the glass again. The glass squeaked. Because I needed cash to hire you. Maya. I'm serious. You withdrew $800 from your brother's account 44 minutes before he died so you could hire me to investigate his death that hadn't happened yet? No. God. No. Len, no. I took the cash the night after he died. The ATM camera timestamp, Oracle got the timestamp wrong by 24 hours. Or, no. Oracle got it right. It's my fault. I used the card the night he died because I'd been carrying it. I'd been carrying his spare card for 6 weeks because he kept forgetting it at brunches and I kept grabbing it and forgetting to give it back, and I needed cash, so I used his card, because I was going to pay him back. That was before anything. I took the cash to pay for a dry cleaner. $40. The cash on the ATM withdrawal, the 800, that was a different, Len, she stopped. She had tangled herself up. I watched her take a second and untangle.
There were 2 withdrawals.
She said, slower.
One on the night he died. $40. For the dry cleaner. Oracle flagged that one and resolved it as within tolerance. The second one was $800. The next morning, using the same card. After I'd found him. Before I called 911. I sat in my car for 15 minutes and I drove 3 blocks and I withdrew $800 from his account. And then I drove back, and then I called 911. Maya. I know. You withdrew $800 from your dead brother's account. I know. Before calling 911. I know, Len. Why?
She looked at me. Her eyes were dry now. Crying had a shape and a limit and we were past the limit. Because I wasn't going to hire a private investigator on my credit card. You could have paid me cash from an ATM on your own account. Not $800 at once. My daily limit is $400. I'd need 2 business days. I needed it that day. Why that day? Because I needed to walk into your bar that afternoon with cash in my pocket, or I wasn't going to walk into your bar at all. Maya. Why cash at all? She took her glasses off. I hadn't seen her do that before. Her eyes without glasses were smaller, tireder. She rubbed the bridge of her nose and put the glasses back on and took a breath.
Because,
she said,
Crest Analytics has a data-sharing agreement with Visa and MasterCard and American Express. It's in the Oracle Terms of Service addendum they pushed out in November. Crest receives transactional metadata from partner financial institutions on any subject under active Oracle review, including ancillary flagged subjects for 90 days after closure. I didn't want Oracle to see me pay a private investigator. I didn't want that transaction to exist in any ledger Oracle could reach. So I took cash out of Daniel's account, which Oracle had already flagged and processed, because money coming out of a flagged account is already inside Oracle's model and won't generate a secondary flag. That's why.
I sat there. The Schlitz sign flickered.
Maya. Yeah. How do you know about the November TOS addendum?
She didn't answer right away. She was doing the thing where she looked at the folder on her coat. She'd pulled me back to the props. Go ahead, I said. Open it. She opened the folder. Inside was a stack of paper, maybe 40 pages. Dense. PDF printouts. The top page was the cover of a white paper. I couldn't read the title from across the table, but I could read the logo. Crest Analytics. The next page down I could see had a highlighter running down the left margin in yellow.
Daniel sent me this.
Maya said.
6 days before he died. What is it? It's the internal data sharing protocol for Oracle's Tier 2 partners. It's the thing that got him killed.
I looked at her. I looked at the folder. I looked at her again. Maya, I said. Why didn't you lead with this 3 weeks ago? Because 3 weeks ago I thought I could get you to investigate the apartment and find what I already knew, and I wouldn't have to tell you the rest of it. I thought you'd follow the pill bottle. I thought that's how private investigators work. You thought I'd chase a prop. Yes. How's that going for you? She almost laughed. She did a small one. It came out as one exhale, nothing more. Len. I'm sorry. I told you. Apologies go at the end. I reached across the booth and I pulled the folder toward me. It was heavier than it looked. I closed it. I didn't open it. Not yet. Maya. The name R. In Daniel's calendar. Are at 9, 7 of them. Over 2 months. Rhea. You know this. Yes. How? Daniel told me about her. 2 weeks before he died. He told me he was seeing someone and she was complicated, and I asked if I could meet her and he said not yet. I never met her. I don't know her last name. I don't know where she lives. I don't know what she does. I know she was, someone Daniel was seeing. He called her Rhea. He said her name weird. He said it like Rhea, not Rhea. That's all I've got. You didn't mention her 3 weeks ago. No. Why? Because I thought if I told you about Rhea, you'd chase Rhea, and Rhea isn't the point. The white paper is the point. Maya. Rhea is a person. White papers are a document. People kill people. Documents get people killed, but the getting killed part still involves a person. I know. I know. I was wrong. Yeah. I took a pen out of my jacket. I wrote Rhea on the back of the soggy napkin. Then I wrote.
Rhea, not Rhea.
Priya's going to want this, I said. Priya's going to run her. Okay. I want you to tell me one more thing tonight. Okay. Is there anything else? Anything else you moved? Anything else you touched? Anything else you took? Anything else you haven't told me? She thought. She thought for a long time.
There was a cup of tea on the side table.
She said.
Next to the chair. It was half full. I drank it. You drank it. I don't know why. I was in shock. I sat on the arm of the chair with his hand, and I drank the rest of his tea. What kind of tea? Chamomile. With anything in it. Honey. Maya. I know. Maya, that cup of tea wasn't in the scene photographs. No. I took the cup. Where is it? In my dishwasher. Clean.
I put my face in my hands. 4-5 seconds. Sal noticed. Sal noticed. He came over with the bourbon bottle and set it on the table without a word and went back to the bar. Maya, I said, through my hands, the tea. With a controlled substance in it. Is the most likely delivery mechanism for a sedative overdose in a victim with a double deadbolt door. If somebody put something in Daniel's tea and left the apartment and the door locked from the inside because he locked it behind them like he always did, the tea is the evidence. I know, Len. And you drank it. I know. And washed the cup. I know. 3 weeks ago. I know, Len, I know. I'm telling you now. I poured myself a short one from Sal's bottle. I didn't drink it. I just put it in the ring on the other side of the water glass, and I looked at the two of them, the water and the bourbon, sitting in their rings, and I thought about how much of this job is just moving liquids into rings and waiting for the rings to tell you something. Okay, I said. Maya. Listen to me. I'm not firing you. I thought you were. I thought about it for 8 seconds on the way down the stairs. I decided against it. You hired me to look into your brother's death. You lied to me about the scene, you lied to me about the money, you withheld the girlfriend's name, you drank the tea, and you are, sitting here right now, the single biggest obstacle to closing this case. All of which I'm going to charge you for in goodwill instead of dollars. Because you are also the only person in this city who gave enough of a shit about Daniel to do any of it. Len, don't. Drink your Coke. She drank her Coke. I'm going to take this folder, I said. I'm going to read it tonight. I'm going to have Priya run Rhea first thing tomorrow morning. Rhea. Through every database we can reach. If Rhea is a real person in the city of New York, Priya will find her by lunch. Okay. If Rhea is not a real person, we'll find that out too, and we'll have a different conversation. Okay. Now. I need you to do 2 things. Yeah. 1. Go home. Do not touch anything of Daniel's. Do not go to his apartment. Do not wash any more cups. Do not call anybody and tell them what you told me tonight. Especially not Crest Analytics, which I assume you have been considering calling. Her face did a thing. Yeah, I said. Don't. 2. Write me a document. Tonight. Everything you did in that apartment, in order, minute by minute, as best you remember. Every object you touched. Every object you moved. Every object you removed. I need it in writing. I need it time-stamped when you finish it. Email it to me. Do not print it. Okay. I mean it, Maya. Do not print it. Do not write it by hand. Type it. Email it. From your personal email, not Daniel's. Okay. Go home. She got up. She gathered her coat. She looked at the bourbon in the ring across from me.
Are you going to drink that?
She said.
Yeah. Don't drink all of it. Maya. Len. Don't drink all of it.
She left. Sal came over and picked up her empty Coke glass and the napkin. He looked at the folder. He looked at me.
Client trouble.
He said. Not a question.
Client lied. How much? Load-bearing lied. But not all lied. No, not all. That's the hard kind. Yeah.
He took the napkin to the bar. He didn't throw it out. He put it on top of the trash and left it there, which is his way of saying.
If you need to read it again.
I sat with the folder for a while. I didn't open it yet. I wanted to do that upstairs, sober adjacent, with the microphone off. I poured the bourbon back in the bottle, which surprised me. I don't remember making the decision. I just watched my hand do it and then I capped the bottle and slid it across the bar to Sal, and Sal pretended he didn't notice, which is how I know he noticed. The thing about working a case with a lying client is that most of the work you've already done is still good. That sounds like a cheat. It isn't. A client lies about particulars, usually, where they were, when they arrived, what they touched, but they rarely lie about the shape of their grief. Maya's grief had been real the day she walked in here and had been real again tonight when she let her shoulders drop that inch. The grief was not the lie. The pill bottle was the lie. The cash was the lie. The tea was the lie, although lie is the wrong word for the tea was something worse. The tea was a small witnessed human act she had not thought to narrate to me because she had not thought of it, in 3 weeks, as a thing requiring narration. The tea was the part one had missed not because she had hidden it but because I had not asked the right question. I hadn't sat her down and said,
What did you do with your hands between the moment you found him and the moment you called?
I had skipped to.
What did you move?
Which is a different question, and I had gotten a different answer. This is what the job is. The job is learning which questions to ask of whom. The job is noticing, 22 days in, that the question you should have asked on day 1 was a question with a different grammar. I got upstairs at 10:15. Priya's light was on across the hall. Priya had been editing in her kitchen with the door open, which she does when she wants me to come by, which she will not admit. I knocked on the frame. She looked up from her laptop.
You look like hell.
She said.
Client lied. About what? All of it. Most of it. Enough of it. Which? Enough of it. Got a name. Rhea. Rhea, not Rhea. Daniel's girlfriend.
Priya pushed her glasses up her nose. She turned her laptop so I could see the screen. She was already on a database tool I'd never asked her where she'd gotten.
Spell it.
She said.
Ehagaya. Then try Rea. Then try Raya. Then try every Greek misspelling you can think of. Then try every name that sounds like Rhea. Then got it. Go.
She went. I stood in her doorway with the folder under my arm and watched her type. Priya types fast. Priya types with the angry even rhythm of someone who used to be a copy editor and never stopped being one. I could hear the rhythm change when the results came back. Slower. Then faster. Then slower. Then stopped. She ran it again. And again. I watched her search. I watched the reflection of the search bars in her glasses, narrow white rectangles, stacked, and I watched her fingers make the small patient adjustments they make when a query fails and she's modifying the syntax. Priya's fingers, when she's working, are the most honest part of her. Her face will lie, her mouth will lie, her fingers will tell you exactly whether the thing is there. She tried DMV. She tried voter registration. She tried the New York State Professional Licensing Database, which covers everything from hairstylists to acupuncturists. She tried LinkedIn. She tried Facebook, which I didn't know was still a database anyone queried, but Priya does. She tried 3 genealogical services. She tried a paywalled skip tracing tool she has credentials for that I have been told, firmly, never to ask about. She tried a facial recognition reverse image search using a grainy still I didn't know she had pulled off Daniel's phone, which she had been saving for a moment exactly like this one. She tried it as RHA, RA, RHA, RA, RAY, RA, RA, RHUA. She tried variants with and without middle initials. She tried the name as a surname instead of a given name. She tried it as a diminutive of longer Greek names, Euryclea, Thraceria, a couple of Byzantine Greek forms I'd never seen written down. She tried every spelling the Census Bureau had seen in the 5 boroughs since 1910. And then she pushed her glasses up her nose and turned her chair around, and she looked at me, and she said,
Lynn. Yeah. There is no Rhea. In New York? Anywhere.